Alright, man, we're going green next time. Bye. Alright, man. Line up on the outside row now. Pit road is closed.
No comment.
The estimated SOF is
3,586.
Ooh, I qualified 30th.
we expect to be fighting for the podium.
I had no practice laps. Jumped in, and my first 2 laps were.
I'm really
all
good
fine.
at ignoring things. I've had a check engine light on my car for probably like a year now.
So I just hope
Oh, you too?
I don't wreck here.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
5 cars left to grid.
I'll take the battery out and then let it reset for a little bit, and I'll go get it smogged every year.
There's some fast drivers back here though with me. Gavin only got 14th. He's been winning a
You
lot.
have 4 additional
Oh,
sets
my
of
bad.
tyres for this race. Be smooth and have a good run. Still waiting on 2 cars to grid.
I'm on a different wheel, so like I didn't know. I was trying to find my button.
I had a big slip.
Straight
up
next
in
one for the
qualifying,
Hallmark channel.
coming out of 2.
It's a joke, don't turn me.
Well,
But what? I didn't hear you.
I will.
Catch the 14 car. Catch the 20.
Yeah, I know
car.
I will, Drew. Thank you.
Catch the
And
13
I know.
car.
But
Catch
you,
the
Norris, you don't have
73
to. I'll do it myself.
I'm just kidding, Ben. It's all fun.
Catch the 12 car.
But you're not wrong.
You march through the field. That's Bill Hill going to be in that 26th
No, if your name was
position
Doug,
for the
probably
48.
would, but...
Christopher Wade in the 53 will be back in 27th with Medlin. The teammates from Storm Motorsports going to be 27th and 28th. Drew Jua thought he was going to have the back.
All right, boys. Let's have a good race.
Back in 29th for the 88 machine.
That's right. Long race.
Is Ryan McCann.
I think 35 stage.
With Trevor Earhart
Okay.
34 and 31st, Ben Kinney in 32nd, 33rd. Supposed to be a driver. Well, I've lost it on my calendar of who was supposed to be there, but it's going to be also seen Brandon Colley, Christopher Norris, and we'll forget that 30.
Right now, it's 10 because
with
the
us.
big
It's
ribbon's
Richard
back.
Get ready.
Wolsifer as we get ourselves prepared for this
Probably a
launch.
5.
It
They
should
tried
be
pretty
a
bad
good one.
Thursday
We're
morning.
excited for the great racing here tonight
10 because
that we
I
will be
looked
seeing
at-
for round number
All right, man.
4. It's
8
James
cars in.
Scioli, Tom
5 cars
Sinjak,
in.
going to be your top 2
Green, green,
for
green.
this go. As this race, again, stage at the end of lap 35. How
Yeah, one
aggressive do
inside.
you want to be?
Get up
It's
top,
time to
3
find
wide.
out and
Yeah, one
see
inside.
as we
2
are
wide there.
green for
Clear low,
Scioli
clear
as
low.
well for Sinjak. As both lanes get a pretty good launch for themselves.
one
We're able to
outside.
keep it clean for now, but into turn number
Stay
1,
low.
where do you want to place yourself? High, low is used during qualifying.
All clear,
And right
all
now
clear.
it's down below Scioli. That's looking quick up the exit of 2.
Scioli doing a great job getting right there up front, able to pull up into the outside line. A clear lead for him. That's great to see. Is there 3 wide right behind him and Ryan? 3 wide further back in the field as he still leads, coming around as he leads lap 1.
I have yet to hit my brakes. I don't know what the car's going to do when I
Scioli, that 3 wide action.
actually get on the brakes hard.
I mean, if you want to have both of our races right now, we
He
can.
shoots through the middle. He's able to
Still there.
continue moving
Hold the line.
forward
Clear
as
low.
Thompson checks
hard is trying to wreck you. Get over it.
pass, but driver that's falling backwards, it's Joshua
one
Kanata
inside.
as
I'm
one
gonna put it
driver
on a
gets close to
t-shirt
the
for you.
outside
Still
wall
there.
further on
Hold the
back. Looks to be Zach Hall as well as a cluster of drivers stuck 3 by 3, 2 rows deep. You don't expect this at
All clear,
Atlanta.
all
Oh wait,
clear.
but these drivers are making it work. They're squeezing through the middle and able to squeeze on by. It's going to be the 2 of Danny Cochran,
I wanna
but
be on the
falling
t-shirt.
backwards and stuck where he
Actually, you know
doesn't
what?
want to be.
Right
It's
on.
that 51 of Vincent Soar record. This is a nightmare that Vincent Soar did not want to see.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see as Vincent Soar with the start
Yeah,
he's
one
had this
outside.
season. He wants to get through this field. He
Stay
wants
low.
to get spread out so he can, get into a rhythm, get
Still
up there and get some speed for himself. But getting stuck behind all these drivers, getting stuck in the 3 wide
Stay low.
situations that he was able to keep it clean, able to get to the bottom of the track. They're going to be 2 wide right now. Let's see if he can make his way through
All
the
clear, all
field.
clear.
It's sad to see him back there, but he can. I have faith he'll be able to get back up into the front where he usually is.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be a big thing when we make that surge forward. Also, looking at the pace that drivers are putting down, we saw a lot of drivers back off on their pace. It looks like Tiger saving already in the mind of a lot of drivers already on lap number 4. Driving to the front, Skyly, Sinchek, Kelly, Noel. They're thinking it's go time as they're trying to pull away and are running almost a half a second faster than the group we're seeing on screen in the middle of the pack.
They pace for the lead that on the front end, almost.
Clear low, clear low. Inside.
You almost wrecked off the turn 2 just a couple laps.
Stay high.
Oh, I never claimed that I had
Still
that.
there. Hold your line. Stay high. Stay high. All clear, all clear.
Come on down, North.
The leader just did a 32.209. That was your fastest lap of the session. Inside. Stay high. All clear, all clear. Got one inside. Still there. All clear, all clear. The leader just did a 32.
A little hard on my tires, I guess. That was a good save on that car I just went past. Yeah, they getting loose down low.
You're pulling away from the car behind. The gap is 1.1 seconds.
Got one outside. Still there? Hold your line. You're clear high, outside. You're clear high. Outside. Just keep hitting your mark. Still there? Hold your line. Stay low, there is a car on the high side. Stay low. Still there? Hold your line. All clear, all clear.
I had an opportunity to pull up and block, and I didn't take it.
Outside. Stay low. Stay low. All clear, all clear.
The leader just did a
32.663.
This is where track position becomes important. Can't pass. And they got loose there. Got loose on that black car up there as well.
Inside. Still there? Hold your line. Stay high. Stay high. All clear, all clear.
How many laps we gotta go? I don't know when the stage is. I don't know what happened to the broadcast. That's the wrong race. I'm gonna have to wait to stage to turn it back on.
Inside. All clear, all clear.
Slowing down too much.
You'll out of turn number 4. It'll be lap 24.
This is the wrong race.
When we go back to green, pace truck about to make the left into pit lane. There go.
The leader just did a 33.027.
Please just go. I don't want to wreck you.
Inside.
Aboard, thank you.
Clear low, clear low. Got one inside. Stay high.
Don't get caught up in the wreck that's about to happen in front of you either.
Stay high.
I'll try. I don't see
All
Cedric
clear,
around,
all
so I
clear.
shouldn't overcorrect.
Oh! Got close to that one. There's a wreck in front of me, but he's off. Oh, there's caution. All
Caution
right.
is out. Line up single file. Pit road
I
is
didn't think it
closed.
was going to come out being a single car below the line.
I guess I have
You
to
all right,
count
Benny?
mine. Yeah,
No.
What lap is
I
stage?
wasn't around that time, I swear.
35.
Also, I'm just gonna disconnect from the server real quick before you wreck.
Stage is 35.
You don't think anyone will stay out?
It's the
I don't know what happened there. I know I started to track out
Well,
a
if
little
anybody
bit.
does,
I feel
there'll be
like
massive wheel spin.
Now open.
you came off the wall a little bit too, or what? But it's all good.
I think we're already over a second off
Yeah, I
pace, I
got a little
believe.
loose. The guy in front of me was kind of getting a little close to the wall.
Sitting back, hoping to just find a spot
Well,
that he
this
can
is
move
not
forward
the
and get through it
not
all.
the
But
stage.
it was coming out of turn 2 where the incident happened onto the back stretch. As you see, Joshua Kanata there on the outside, trying to make a move to the inside, gets a little loose and just barely taps the nose of Vincent.
Oh, let's set out. Well, no.
We're sitting him down to the inside wall. Hopefully, I mean, it was kind of a hard hit. Hopefully, it wasn't too terribly bad and get that damage repaired and get back out on
Are you
track.
taking tire?
Crinkle on
Yeah.
the sides of those quarter panels. It is not
Right
damage
here.
that you want to pick up, but it has been something I've talked with Scott with that of Zach
I'm just going to take it easy on this restart and just stay out and caution just to see if I can get position.
damage. You can fix a lot of this damage up and still run almost
Alright,
as
that's
fast
it.
as this
Go.
thing was.
You only got 3 more sets.
So
Yeah.
because it wasn't required damage, still should be in this fight. Well, this puts the rest of the field in an awkward scenario because of the fact that we are not done with stage 1. Some drivers,
I think took 2.
others
Poor gas
decided
only.
to stay out. It was almost a dead equal
Line
in
up
the
single
middle
file.
split on half the field pitting and half the field staying out.
Yeah, I think at this point of this, the
Track
stage,
position is huge.
it's going to end at this caution coming out.
So I was running the same lap times as the leader.
Is everything.
Just
It's almost you don't want to pick because
passing
it
is so
looks like
difficult.
a lot of them did.
And we can go about, I think, 65-ish
So
on fuel.
I think the
so
plan
even from here, it's still
we got right here.
Alright.
It's the
That didn't-
I'm like,
67.
Looks like quite a few stayed out.
They might opt to stay out and
we're going to stay out at the
a
stage.
little bit. Great, there's no other stage breaks, but that might benefit
You murderer.
them when it comes to
Just take it easy here.
or when they're going to pit under green flag.
We're not going to get anything. We're not going to make it a 10th for stage
We're
point.
we're going to see a lot of
involuntary
people charging
manslaughter.
through the field, and I think on these fresh tires, they might just be trying to burn a set of
Still
tires
get
and
the
try to
time.
go for that stage win.
Interesting.
Yeah, if we just take,
To a Danny
there's no way
Actually,
any of us, I don't think, are going to win the stage. So if we take it easy,
decision go
I
into
think like right now I'm
two.
8th. If we all stay out next caution, McCann's nice, staying out.
He'll be getting service done for tire. Another driver.
Yeah, I'm
going
back
with
at
an
20.
all strategy. Pits
You just said we'll be 8th if we stay out.
21 of Ross Tatum. So we'll
Stay in
get
this position.
to the end of the line with this.
Goes
different
18th
call.
back.
And I think that they originally wanted to make
Did it.
drivers.
So literally half the field.
Decided not to go into pit road.
Almost.
Everyone inside of our top 17. Leader now going to be Tom Senchek, Shane
Wait, it is
Terry,
exactly half,
John
right?
Forbes, James Scioli,
36.
Ryan Kelly, both that were leading at the time, will head into pit road, but they're going to be in the thick of things, back in 18th and 9th position on this restart. And they're in that odd spot where if there is
Am I doing math right?
that comes up before lap 35, that will count as the stage. So this puts all the pressure on those drivers that got tires.
Yeah.
Are you pushing for those stage points with this fresh rubber, or are you backing off and saving your tires for that track position once the stage is done?
Yeah, I think at this point, if you came in for tires, I would push. I would try to go for that stage win. You might be
Is he
saying
going back in
All
for
right,
more
man, we're
fuel?
going green next
the
time.
time difference
All right, man.
between the old
Line
tires
up
and
on
new
the
tires
outside
is
row
going to
now.
be huge. So you could probably
My tire wear was nearly perfect. We actually need to go a little harder on the right front.
doing it could be just smart. Just save that tire
Extra
and
88
skip
car.
pitting and flip the track position at the stage caution. We'll see what everyone tries to do as they're all lining up 2 by 2. The lights are out on the pace car. We're going to go green next time around.
Update on those drivers that had
I didn't-
extended time
I
on
didn't get any practice.
Jarrett Talmadge.
Hey, Jamie.
Extra time, stayed for an extra 15 seconds for himself. Other drivers.
My first lap was my qualifying lap.
with damage. He is still on the lead.
I qualified 30th.
Only in pit road.
I expect
I'm
massive
just
wheel
letting y'all
spin
know.
and probably a wreck on the restart, honestly.
The stage is in 4 laps, so we got new tires.
I'm behind you. Just everyone in front of us.
Top 18 is going to pit, so we'll move up to the front.
Time in pit road. No
As long as we don't get wrecked here.
See if the 12 decides to get back out on track as he is
Get
still
ready.
4 laps down in pit road.
Just got to make it 4 laps.
Once again, top 16 drivers, top 17, excuse me, going to be on old
right, man.
tires.
Pace
Yet to
cars
pit.
in.
Everyone
Pace
from
cars in.
18th on back.
Green
Watch
flag,
out on this
green flag.
surge. We are going to see a dramatic change
The lead
on
is to
pace.
the
This closing rate.
They handled the tire spin well.
So, but can we stay out of trouble? That's the big question of no. Pace car makes the hard left-hander into pit road. We are green
Yeah, one
for the
inside.
2000.
I'm scared. Is that 4 wide?
We having an up front, little bit of a log jam on the inside row, forcing drivers to go 2 wide. That's going to be now drivers
Three
stuck
wide,
3
you're in the middle.
wide.
Three wide,
I'm
you're in the middle.
wanting out of this.
Run,
Look at that.
Ball. Huge run for the one machine as he will get by Tom Senchek as
Still
well as
there.
Gavin
Three
Rogers,
wide, you're in
and
the
a
middle.
great run for themselves, but they're
Hold your
3,
line.
almost 4 wide
All clear,
back
all clear.
for that 14th, 15th position.
It is a bee's hive there in the back of the field, 3 and 4 wide. But Gavin Rogers up
All
here
clear, all
challenging
clear.
for the lead from Zach Hall. We have got our race on our hands as it looks like one car is down into the grass, able to keep it straight back up.
They are going to straight wreck.
Quickly.
There it goes.
Straight, no cars
Got one
wrecked, and
outside.
everyone's still racing side by
All
side,
clear,
getting
all
as close
clear.
as they possibly
Outside.
can here to turn 1 and 2.
And Doug
That was
goes
all
for
even
the
taken
Cody
that had
Reed
his
mode.
time in the grass is now Dillis Newbiggy. Big slide in Dillis Newbiggy, wiggling back and forth. He goes down into the apron.
low.
We'll stay green for now, but he
All
almost
clear,
came
all clear.
creaming up into the field. Everyone reacts in a manner to stay out of the way. The 7 gets rolling up front. It's still Zach Hall, Gavin Rogers side by side coming to the line. We will have ourselves 2 laps to go on the stage. Pit road is closed. It's time to see who's going to be in the top 10, get those stage bonus points. Right
Yeah,
now
one
it's
outside.
Hall, but for how long? James
Still there.
Scioli is
Hold
up
the
to
line.
6th position, and he is rocking it his way forward
Stay
on the
low,
inside.
dude. All
And now
right.
could be 3 wide for the lead. John
All
Forbes going to
clear,
be
all clear.
cycling through the middle.
I just got wrecked.
He go through the middle. He will.
All right, man,
Pushing
caution
the
is out,
11.
caution
The
is out.
77 has
Line up,
made the
single
march.
file. Pit road is
He's
closed.
squeezing and
Left
trying to
up
find
9.
space.
He had the position when the
Scioli
yellow
coming
flag
to the
came
white
out.
flag of the
Left up
stage
10,
is going to
car
be
by.
taking the inside.
How bad is it?
Kelly
I don't know. I got web damage.
Zach Hall with the stage win as their melee on the front stretch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll be 8th.
Flag, but James Scioli showing that new tires were definitely
Oh,
the
so
call
scared
to
for you,
go.
Gavin.
Charged up through the field and was able to finish, I believe, third for the stage as Zach Hall takes home the stage win.
I thought you were going to go middle.
Just bumping everywhere as Ryan Kelly could be the driver spun around.
No, I've always been taught to not
So
change
much
lanes when
worse,
someone's wrecking
but
in front of you.
the surge of drivers on fresh tires and old. I mean, it's almost every other driver had fresh tires to this point, and the 3 was doing his best with fresh rubber to sneak his way through, following the likes of Drew Jua as well as Scioli, but just hit a wall. Old tires just didn't work out here. I mean, Richard, this is when it squeezes to a very narrow factor, and you got drivers 2 wide, 3 wide. As Stitz gets in to that 9, he then clips the 3, and away goes Kelly as Chris Stitz also creams into the wall, as well as the 9. And this is where I'm shocked. Everyone else able to avoid.
There we go.
Yeah, fantastic work by everybody.
I gotta put
A very strange wreck.
Sun check your tires.
Looks like
You don't need them.
cars coming together. They're on the front wide when that accident happened. Shane Taryn got a little loose.
You only have 2 more sets after that.
Just
If you have cautions.
trying to dodge that and just
Alright, I'm checking.
gets the spin across. Only a couple cars involved actually, but unfortunate to see Ryan Kelly get involved with that situation.
See here, Chris Stitz
3 minutes.
right on
35
the
seconds.
and what we like to call netco, visible hitbox, goes down, clips the 3, and that's what sends up into the outside wall.
Takes over the car.
It's been an
for
issue
James
that
Scioli.
has been around iRacing forever. It's just due to the fact of internet racing that it's going to be a factor that shows up, but looks like to be 6 inches of netcode that spins that 3 around and bringing out this caution.
Damn.
Yeah, netcode is definitely something that is
That one guy
racing for a while, but like you said, it's kind
got
of
up to
expected
third
for internet
with
racing.
new tires.
That's just how it is with the internet lag and different people's connection types. So, but unfortunate situation for that right there, though. I mean,
I don't know if he was involved in the wreck though.
tight racing overall with Shane Terry up against the wall. Then
Yeah, he's out. He's out of the race. So he made it to third, but I guess he wrecked out.
That was the other day.
That's the end of the
Probably coming
stage.
down
Zach
there now,
Hall
but I
will
have no
leave
idea.
with the stage win. So good work with him and a great charge for James Gilly as he gets.
We're on a fast stretch coming to the line.
Incredible run for himself. Not sure.
Decent bit on
a report on
Monday
James
If your
morning.
car's a little slower, I think that might be big on long runs.
of Zach Hall, who is
I still got some damage to fix.
was feeling saving his way up front and taking the
I think my steering's a little messed up.
Zach Hall, it's Sam and Richard up the booth. You got us?
9
Yeah, I got you
the next
guys.
couple of days. So that's
Well,
pretty
stage
nice.
winner. Was that on your list of things to do here tonight? Because you qualified 6th, you looked quick, but were you expecting the stage there at the end?
I
No,
was just testing
like,
the netcode to
we
see how bad it
were
is
just
between
riding
you and I.
along there, and I kind of feel like I burnt my stuff up on the green run we had there. It was like trying to get it back, and I felt like it was slowly coming back to me. So I feel like I was starting to make a little headway towards the front from giving up a few spots. But man, I knew when we had the restart there, I was gonna have a good shot with all the wheel spin, and I feel like I put the power down pretty well. Got that lead early, and from there I was making a bunch of mistakes, but luckily it was able
Should I come back down again? I'll just wait till the next
at
caution.
some point with how stacked up it was. So luckily the time it worked out, and we'll bag another playoff point. So that's huge.
Yeah, a little luck there, Zach Hall, as the caution came out, kind of saving your.
I thought I had him muted.
On
I didn't have
tires. What was the decision? Did you decide on not going on fresh tires because you wanted to get
That would be
track
team orders,
position
would it be?
over the freshies?
Yeah, like a lot of people would stay out there just because they didn't want to waste the set real quick.
Alright, man, line up on the
We
inside
had a
row.
disadvantage here because I actually think it's going to matter a little bit, especially if you push really hard on those tires right
Can
there.
you give me a countdown?
It's
though?
not a lot of laps, but these things are wicked loose. So I kind of felt like I wanted the tires after the stage, and felt like the best opportunity to get the most stage points was to stay out. And it was a risk, but it definitely paid off.
Well, Zach, congratulations on the stage win here tonight. Enjoy it. Hopefully, we talk to you tonight as we send you back to your team.
Thanks, guys.
That will be the number one
If you spin
machine
around,
of
you can
Zach
see what the back
Hall.
looks
And
like from the front.
report on James Scioli again. He's looking to be the threat to take the stage at the time of the yellow flag coming out. Wasn't able to do so and pulled off the track at the time of the yellow and has manually disconnected from the server. We don't know exactly on the report on the exact reason why. But Richard, I mean, that takes away a huge factor as we're about to get back to green flag racing.
Yeah, that's kind of a shocking thing to see. I hope everything's okay. I mean, our pole sitter making a huge charge up there at for the stage end there and disconnected from the race. So hopefully we get a report and get some information on why he disconnected. But you know, unfortunate to see. We hate seeing drivers leave, but possible emergency. But hopefully he comes back and hopefully everything's okay on his end.
That's what we want to see is drivers being all right. And James Scully, we hope to see him back out on track next week at Nashville Super Speedway. But up front, older tires now, and oh, no trouble. It's Tom Simchak. Hard contact in the outside wall. We stay green. But that 26 Machines, great start to tonight, goes up in smoke immediately for the 26. As up front, it's now going to be Drew Jua, Brian Noel, Nick Cropper, going to be in the top 3 with the Hello Kitty Machine and Cedric Connor in 4th. Old Tires going to be up front. First driver moving with Freshies, going to be the 11 of John Forbes, but Disaster striking for the 26 is now Brian Noel, leads up the exit of 4.
Yeah, going back and watching that on my end, it definitely looks like he just had some tire spin coming up to the green flag dropping and just hard right turned into the wall. Everyone did a good job dodging him, so just him involved. Unfortunate to see our outside pole sitter. That do believe actually, but hopefully it's nothing too bad. He can get that repair and get back out on track as we ride along now with. Looks like we're watching.
It's for 4th place position of Cedric Hunter, and that pink Hello Kitty Machine behind him is going to be able to 8 on the outside of Brian McCann. Huge surge for the 8. The 50 of Sid Garcia. Garcia again. Talk about how bad that he looked quick during practice. To carry that speed and momentum here to race time, and didn't qualify well, but the 50 Machine tried its best to go forward as racing around the 67 of Larry Yingling and the 11 of John Forbes. Forbes looking very strong right now, has the freshest of tires of anyone on track currently, and very quickly dispatched a lot of drivers. He's now up to 8th position and has to be patient, watching the 67 and others and looking for a clean opening to try to press on and get by these drivers. But at the same point, Richard, I mean, you want to be aggressive if you're the 11s. You know you have pressure tires, but you don't want to overcook the tires just in case you have a long run because there are no more stages.
Yeah, I mean, a great way to look at your tires is a consumable item. It's like, you know, the more you use them, the more you don't have for a later run. So he might be on the freshest tires, but that also gives him the chance to save like everyone else and have more tire near the end of the run to be able to make the move. So it's definitely a decision you got to make as a driver on how you want to go with the strategy. But right now, he's just kind of chilling behind there. Yingling might be doing somewhat of a saving strategy here to be able to have that later run, but he's going to dive low to take it 3 wide on the inside there. Larry on the inside, they're going to tighten up here, but they're keeping it off each other and keeping it clean. We got 3 wide racing still here in Atlanta.
It's going to be Sam Garcia trying to keep it off the wall if possible. Yingling will now fall in line behind the 11 and watching behind him as well. Again, taking track position after taking tires before the stage was over. That is the furthest down of those drivers. Ben Keeney in the 98 Machine in 12th position, trying to stay on the outside. I gotta say, kudos to the 98 for keeping the position that he's in, because these drivers are rolling on about 5-lap old tires compared to with 3 flag runs inside of this caution that we last had. So curious on the fact of having the 5-lap older tires. The drivers are still doing a good job keeping pace with those that have freshies.
Yeah, I mean, 5 laps isn't too terribly huge, so it's, I mean, he could have been one of the drivers that was saving a little bit during that situation, or when he took tires, just to kind of flip the position at the stage. So right now, we got a lot of green flag racing ahead of us in a long time, 110 laps or so. So it's not a time to be overly aggressive this early. So a lot of these drivers are going to be taking their time, trying to save tires, maybe make moves where they see it. A safe, smart time to do it. So we're just going to ride along, trying to take it easy, take it safe, and try to save those tires for maybe a later run or for a fuel saving strategy.
Drop on board with the 4 Machine. Trevor Earhart with him back. Douglas Newbiggie. Well, it's the 10 Machine. Ryan Forbes is back in that 17th, 18th, 19th position. Douglas Newbigin trying to find a way to go forward on the 7 machine. He had his moments going forward, and still willing to risk giving a bump if possible. Is now going to be making a sneaky move, pushing the 4 high as they went 3 wide for a quick moment, forcing Trevor Earhart into this 3 wide motion. And you do not want to be this 4 is off the exit of the corner. You just get so tight between these drivers. They skate their way through as Earhart. I don't think he's going to be feeling luck to or happy there with the Lucky Dutch driver at that hole.
Definitely doesn't look like he was happy with him. Douglas Newbigin kind of stuck his nose way underneath, got him to grass a little bit, forcing number 4 out that lane. And the number 4 even showed a little bit of his frustration with that, trying to pinch him out of the turn, but nonetheless, Douglas was able to get around him and is now fighting the other drivers along with Danny Cochran, trying to move forward after that spin he had that didn't bring out a caution. So Douglas doing a great job moving up through the field again. And is there 3 wide with Danny?
It's a 98 of Ben Caney. He's going to be on the outside. Ben's going to be losing momentum again. Now, on those older set of tires, a driver that's traditionally battling for inside the top 5. Doing his best to stay up front as long as possible. 98 will now fall behind 2. 7 and Douglas Newbigin saw there was willing and was tempted to make a couple of moves trying to set up to get by 55 of that's going to be Jared Kelly in front of him, as well as trying to find a way to get by Zach Hall. I think the 7 is one of the few drivers we've been watching willing to muscle and force it 3 wide, as well as formed and one of the drivers that have been up front in that riskiness, the risk to reward. Obviously, they're feeling like the risk to force 3 wide, move a driver up just a little bit, is well worth that reward.
Yeah, move the driver up just a little bit to get around him, get that 1 position. We might just get one position a lap, but that could be just enough for you to do while you also kind of maintain a saving part there. But Douglas getting around Zach Hall as well. He's doing a great job picking off drivers 1 by 1. Is looking underneath. Also the number 55 there of Jared Kelly. Following Josh Manhattan, we've got a 2x2 racing here in about the middle of the field. Drivers doing a great job keeping off each other. He's loving going to the inside here, trying to get the position, get his nose underneath that quarter panel to get around. And he's making the pass now on Joshua Canado as well.
It's the driver feeling comfortable, and Natalie will take that pass away. 7 continues on his march forward. Also, as we were looking back, that was off the 50. Ken Campbell seeing GT Rizzari trying to work the outside groove. Larry England staying low. It's on the inside, fading backwards. It's Drew Jew on the 88, older tires. So they're starting to feel that wear and tear sooner than the rest of the field. But the one driver that marched his way quickly through this pack next year, John Forbes in the lead position.
I think that's like 3 or 4 races in a row for him.
Over Brian Noel. Nick Crawford also almost a second and a half behind the 11. I gotta say, John Forbes has done everything that he needs to do to perfectly solidify himself in this top spot. It's now just wait, protect until we see those pit stops, which looking at the fuel run, around 66 to 68 laps that they can go. We'll see if they want to push it that far or if they're going to think about tires sooner than later.
And John, he's doing a great job here in the lead. Adam Lane on the fresher tires. Coming off a strong win earlier this week in the ISRC Truck Series. As he won there, he's taking that momentum here, bringing it to the rest of the field in WSSR. But pitting is going to be a thing under all these drivers' minds. Pitting under green can be very dangerous, trying to get off the track so we don't get hit behind. But difference about this Atlanta versus what we raced the season in race number 1 of the season, no, they're not all packed in a bunch. So pitting is going to be a little easier here than it was in the first race of the season. But John Forbes doing a good job up there, has some great pace and still maintaining a pretty decent lead over second place of Brian Noel.
almost a full second being the difference, which is taking them almost completely out of the range of having had that grab assistant for some other drivers. The next driver that's on the similar set of tires when they decide to go into pit road, that would be back sixth position where we see Gavin Rogers currently, and he's not even in this shot of drivers that are battling. He's back here with the pink shade Cedric Hunter and Ken Campbell. These are the drivers that went into pit road and got service for themselves on the same lap as John Forbes 20 laps ago, with the likes of Gavin Rogers, Ken Campbell, GT Rizari. Those three drivers trying to find a way to catch up to the 11 or hope that that's the run progresses will actually catch back up to them before protecting these tires.
Yeah, John Forbes, like you said, having some screamer racing right now. He might be not saving his tires like a lot of these other drivers, but Cedric Hunter and Gavin Rogers here racing for position for sixth place. Gavin has slowly been making his way up through the field, trying to make his presence known. Coming off the win last week at the Auto Club as well, he's definitely starting to show more of a long-run pace driver. He's had to start about the midfield majority of this season. He's still up there. Again, like you said earlier, the only driver here, season 10, that has had all three races in the top 5. So he is doing phenomenal and showing what he needs to get done to do it. So he got a little loose there down on the apron, but still able to maintain, keep the car straight, and just be able to pull away from Ben Campbell and Cedric Hunter and make his charge up.
And Ken Campbell.
Stay high. There's a car on the low side.
To the 15 is a driver that is trying to change how this season has been for himself. Last season was a complete nightmare. Had one or two maybe good races. Everything else was just a fall apart moment. Here so far this season, he's found himself getting the first top 10 to start off at Atlanta, then got 13th at Pocono, and then last race got 20th at Auto Club, hoping to change the way that has been moving and wants to start finishing higher up. But the high quality for Ken Campbell is that Pocono at 8 at Atlanta here tonight was his lowest qualifying of the season, but being sixth currently on the same time when he came at pit road as John Forbes. I think the 15 going to be a driver to watch out for. As take a look at the driver that was involved with our first incident, bring out a caution for the 50 or first time he was involved in an incident for the 51. Sora hoping not to be involved in any more. As he had another scare about 5 laps ago. Richard, this magnet that Sora's had over him, it's got to be the most frustrating thing as a driver when you know you do everything that you feel like is right, but the racing gods say that you're in the wrong spot right now.
And, you know, I've been in his shoes as a driver also, where, you know, you've had some really good races finally, and just luck does not go your way. You just a magnet for all the disaster, and that has been the story of Vincent Stora's season so far to start off. And, you know, not being in the first caution of the race, it was nothing nothing he could have done because Joshua got a little loose and got on the inside. But he's doing a really good job recovering right now. He's right along with him back there. So he's doing a good job up to the 20th position. Down a lot from where he started. That's, you know, he had to get some damage repaired. But still got some good pace. He's making passes here and there where he can, but I think he's just trying to play it even more safe than he was before. But hopefully he can do it, get a good recovery run in and finish up there in the top 10 or better.
As this race progresses, we're going to see that tires once again around that cycle of kind of the second wave into a green flag run. First wave around lap 10 to 15, and then around 25 to 30 was the next one. Tires for this whole entire time. So drivers trying to hold steady around that time that we saw that first caution come out, where drivers were starting to snap loose. It wasn't just the drivers up front, it was all throughout the field that everyone started to have the similar handling and go away. And I was given a report from the likes of Shane Terry for this race is this race could have a lot of overcorrection incidences because of how easy it is to just lose the
we just keep passing each other.
Trying to overcorrect. So this field knows every single corner at this moment on is a danger throughout the whole entire field.
Yeah, the cars here in Atlanta love to just
Still
snap
there.
on you sometimes, especially trying to correct. I mean,
clear,
that's
all
just
clear.
the story of these cars on the surface, I think, anyways. I mean, the cars, you'll be going really fast and sliding, and you'll be trying to save the car, and it just slows down enough that all of a sudden you get a whole bunch of grip, and the car just darts to the right. So overcorrecting is definitely an issue with these drivers have to worry about. Even makes it worse so here in Atlanta with this old surface. But Zach Hall is runners right along with Zach Hall and Douglas Newbigin here, Cedric Hunter as well. Zach Hall disappearing there for a second. Doing a good job making his way back up through the field as well alongside Douglas. Taking outside here. They're still 2x2 this far back in the field is fantastic to see.
It certainly is, as Joshua Kanata runs in 6th place, 2x2, and a little bit of a wiggle there, and more contact going to be made, as that was around seeing Drew Jua, Samuel Garcia making some contact on the back stretch. Luckily, they keep it pointed in the right direction, even with all those taps to one another. But you can already tell drivers in the summer just trying to catch their car more than that they're trying to get into one another, as well as side drafting, something drivers look for, try to slow their competition down on the straightaway, the exit, all the small little nuances that never look for an advantage. As a grouping, we were just watching for a quick moment, single filed out. Now I'm going to be trying to find who's willing to be more aggressive.
The lead
Up
is
front, it is still John Forbes, second over Nick Crawford, who seems to be the driver on the move at that top fight between top two drivers, but seeing that second, third, and fourth place position change. Crawford with good speed, but the problem is he's running just as fast as their leader, but that was while he was making the pass over the 8.
Yeah, John Forbes is doing an impressive job up there. He has actually extended his lead to 1.1 second at one point in time. So he's doing a fantastic job up there in the lead still. I mean, clean air on these cars are amazing. The car feels probably the best it's ever going to feel. It's like a racing on qualifying. But he is starting to lose a little bit of time. Nick Crawford finally finding a little bit of speed, trying to catch him with Brian McCann, tailing behind him and Brian Noel. So these drivers might be trying to make a move to get up and get that lead from John Forbes. So we'll see how this plays out. We still have over half of a race to go. So it's about to get really interesting with green flag pit stops looming very soon.
Yeah, I'm looking at the fuel window. This race technically could turn into a one-stop if you're able to protect your tires and drive far enough along. I haven't seen anyone make the indication that they're thinking about green flag pit stops. One driver gets around on the back stretch. It's the 55. That's going to be Jared Kelly out in 29th position.
Pit road is now
spins
open.
it around, and, well, first half of the race is going to be over. When we come back for after this caution's over, it is going to be the second half. And Richard, I mean, looking at the incident, it actually was going down into turn number 1. The 55 spun around, a miscalled where that wreck happened. But this group, it's just middle of the pack. Drivers getting antsy with trying to make big moves on tires that just do not want to allow it.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily a big move situation there. Did start kind of around start finish line. The 55 of Jared, he just kind of got a little loose coming into the tri-oval there, and
almost got a black flag.
Back and forth.
Almost go past my pit.
But I don't think there was any contact. So just the self spin from Jared that brings out the caution. And that will be, by the time we go back green flag racing, we'll be halfway to go in the race. But I also think we still have pit stops that are going to be under green flag if the race, maintains the green flag running, because you can't go 75 laps on these tanks unless you were doing a massive fuel save strategy, which I believe can be done. We'll just see if any driver is willing to try that, but it's more than likely another pit stop after this yellow as well.
Well, there's slight contact made, but like you said, it was already looking snappy loose going through that quad oval. As 55 goes around, that will allow drivers to enter pit road, get service done, and the difference of tire strategy, well, throw it out the window. Everyone coming into pit road, 4 tires and fuel to get out there on track. Well, for us up at the booth, we will take our first commercial break of the evening as you are watching the WSSR Cup Series here tonight, Season 10. We've had 4 different winners.
I guess what I need to do from now on is just not practice.
Pole sitter. We have a 4th different winner. Could we see a multi-time winner find out. We come back. It's the second half of the Atlanta race.
I held third for 40 laps.
Season 10. Back right after this.
I don't know what I'm doing differently, though. Did Zach Hall take 2 tires? I didn't see him behind us. I thought Gavin was right behind us.
All right, man, we're going green next time by. All right, man, line up on the inside row. Get ready. The pace car is in. The pace car is in. Green flag, green flag. Good job, the next car is the leader. Got one outside. The leader just did a 22.076. All clear, all clear.
They're 5 wide behind the fifth. Oh my, the 5 wide here, this ain't gonna work. They make it last, bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora's still with a shot here, coming off a 4. That's it. It's bottom line, here it comes. I know the corner gets run. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolished one another. Diving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Patrick Hunter, he steals it, but he somehow drove it in the corner to wreck it. Oh, they wrecked!
Right,
they wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they gotta be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes in the 28.
Stay high. Still there? Hold your line.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Green Flag Racing. It's John Ford Jr. leading the charge with Brian Buchanan second, third being Brian Noel with John Canada and Zach Hall finishing the top 5. We're happy to give you the coverage of the WSSR Cup Series here tonight on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Richard Wilsifer, and running productions in the background is Robert Moyer Jr. And Richard, we got that caution. We're now officially into the second half of this race, and I think everyone might be in the same record book of it might be time to calm down for some up front. I'm curious who in the middle it's going to feel like it's go time because they lost so much track.
Yeah, I mean, we're halfway through. It's time to start deciding on what your plan is for the rest of this race. So a lot of the front drivers are just going to take it easy. They're kind of where they want to be. They don't want to be in an unfortunate situation. So but take it easy up front is kind of the name of the game. But further back in the field, you kind of want to start looking at making moves sooner rather than later, because time will run out, and we'll run out a lot quicker than you think usually. So we'll start to see a lot of exciting racing in the back, and I mean, we're seeing a lot of racing up front as well, as cars are kind of all over the place, still side by side.
Joshua Ganada breaking loose off the exit of turn 2 as he bobs and weaves back into line, able to keep that position for 5th place position. Now going to be up front, seeing the drivers of Ryan McCann leading up front. We have not seen this picture. I feel like for over a season, maybe even a season and a half. This 8 machine was a threat back when we were running the Gen 8s, the Gen 4 machines and the ARC cars back in season 7 to 8, and it was a fun time to be watching the drivers. And Brian McCann, one of those drivers, it was always fun going back and forth with Brian Noel in 2nd place currently, as Nick Crawford as well as Gavin Rogers battle for that 5th and 4th place position.
Yeah, Gavin Rogers up there now running the top 5 with Zach Von Cedric Hunter, another 2 great names up there right with him. So they're finally making some moves up front. Yeah, to see Brian McCann up in front, that is awesome to see. Probably one of the most unique schemes out there in the field as well, running that Dale Earnhardt Jr. Split scheme. But did a good job, got around John Forbes with him and Brian Noel. John Forbes could just be looking to save a little bit of tire. We'll have to see what his plans are, see if he can make his way back up to the front and take the lead. But he's got Gavin Rogers in full tracking down. Gavin is smelling that 1st place position, looking to go back-to-back wins here at Atlanta.
And become the first driver to be a multi-time winner, if possible. Other drivers that have won this season, Drew Jua and Cody Reed. And currently looking at the way Drew Jua's looking, he's back in 14th place. And ever since making the call right before the stage and giving up track position, I mean, it's been hard for Drew to keep those spots. He did not qualify well. Still trying to find his footing to go forward. Gavin Rogers runs 4th. Nick Crawford, you know, looking at before that caution came out, I think the 74 was the driver, and no, he was running down the 11 of John Forbes as seen back and forth.
I got to lead some laps though.
As GT Rizari and not a good little bit pixie, but Nick Crawford, he looked like one of the strongest drivers on the long run once we got past 30 laps.
Running high that much. Gets the right front too hot.
Where the 73 placing himself, able to go forward and attack. It's Ken Campbell, GT Rizari. This is about for 10 plates on screen.
Looking for the long run of, like you say, Nick Crawford. So going to hope this race stays as green as long as he possibly can to get that better long run pace. And a lot of the times, these drivers have been known to have these longer green flag drives. So, you know, we're going to be looking forward to a long run here. Hopefully no more cautions the rest of the race, or maybe another one to kind of throw the strategy up in the air and take a curveball to a lot of these drivers. So we'll see what these drivers can come up with. Right there in front of Zach Hall, behind Gavin Rogers, trying to make their way up to the front to take the lead as well. But drivers kind of just lining up.
I need to get back down low and save.
As we still have
the tires cooled off.
Around 60 laps to go, in the 70 laps to go in this race.
Maybe I can just ride here.
Plenty of great racing to be seen here tonight as Trevor Earhart in 12th position for the 4. You can see that gold machine, one of the more unique schemes you can see out there on tracks. Easy to spot. With a few other drivers that are pretty easy to spot when we see them compared to the rest, as at the moment, seeing all those drivers race on by. Some of the biggest movers from where they qualified. Brad McCann, obviously the biggest one right now with 27 positions from where he started. Trevor Earhart up 19 spots. Drew Jua in 14th. He's up 15 positions. The drivers that are back in 20th place, want to give them a little bit of credit and cheers, as that's Christopher Norris in 20th position. And a driver we have not talked about tonight, who's had similar bad luck when he shows up to races to Vincent Sora. It's going to be Brandon Colley in the 78 machine. Both drivers up more than 10 positions. Colley up 12, Christopher Norris of 14 positions. They might be a further back in the field, but it's always got to be feeling good when you're moving up from where you qualified.
Yeah, you might have started in the far back, but passing cars is definitely kind of a little boosting morale as you get up through the field. And yeah, Norris also one of those drivers that was just not had a very good start to the season and kind of fell to what we call the cast a curse last week by me. So hopefully he can recover, have another good run here with cars spreading out like they are, and typical intermediate like Atlanta. You know, less of a chance to get involved in some situations here as we're right along with the number 73.
73 is Justin Olarkey, as well as Christopher Wade, Bill Hull. They're going to be back in 29th, 30th, and 31st, giving a little bit of cheers. The drivers running in the back, maybe not having the perfect nights that they were hoping for, but I gotta say, at least keeping in the draft of the drivers ahead of them. And for some drivers, that's kind of the goal. You may not feel like you're the fastest car that night, and your goal is just to run with the drivers around you. And it's exactly what we're seeing from the 73, the 53, and the 48 is they're trying to find a way to keep close to Stitz and John Ross ahead. We go ahead to the lead position. Brian Noel, John Ford Jr., and John is
lost the rear.
That it's time to go as they ran about 15 laps under green flag conditions on these tires. It's the 11 trying to poke a nose ahead. Impossible, but they'll stay side by side. Drag racing into turn number 3. And I got a sense, if you're the 11 of John Ford's, his contact's made in the center of the corner. He wants to get by this 0-0 because there's one driver, there's two that are making big moves and gains on this lead two. That's Gavin Rogers, Nick Crawford. They are called it. It's green light to go. They're trying to run down these top two drivers, and that was a huge save by both the 0-0 and the 11 through 3 and 4.
That was a huge move by John Forbes, trying to take the lead back away from Brian Noel. Got into his side just a little bit. Driver's still able to keep it straight and keep running, not losing any positions. But yeah, you got Gavin Rogers, Nick Crawford, and all them trying to make moves. Gavin getting around Brian McCann has now got his sights set on John Forbes, making a huge progress, cutting that lead down from those two. Gavin, it is just a matter of laps before he can get up and make a move for the lead to lead this race for the first time.
And Gavin Rogers, he's also got a tandem driver with him. Nick Crawford sticking behind. Wherever Gavin goes, Crawford goes as well, as they are trying to make this surge to catch up to our top two. Right? John Forbes now going to be running that outside group, wants to get some clean air on that front nose, be able to turn the corner.
Right here is angry.
Recognizing it's go time. Huge run off the exit of turn 4. Now going to be right on the back bumper into turn number 1 as we ride on board with the 74 Nick Crawford. Crawford, he's trying to find a way to move closer and closer as we are 10 laps away from when we saw Crawford really at its peak of speed and was one of the fastest drivers out on track. And we know each one is so different from how well you protected your tires to when you're really going to have that long run pace. Gavin Rogers looked like he changed it up. This 75 wants the lead now.
Yeah, Gavin's running the outside line a little bit more to try to get the momentum as he's making a challenge for second place from Brian Noel there. He has definitely got his sights on leading this race. I think he's just kind of tired of sitting in the back, ready to get up here and run. As he's able to clear Brian Noel almost out of turn 2 down the backstretch, now in P2. Sights are set on the leader, John Forbes, trying to run away as if a fox is chasing him. Gavin Rogers now in second place.
Gavin Rogers now going to be in the peak position to move forward, and Crawford keeping it close. Another driver that's running pretty similar good pace. Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter.
Wow.
Drivers back in 6th and 7th, and also
it really kicked out there.
The likes of Larry Young getting plates. They're still about 7.5 behind our leader, but they also running very close pace to the likes of Rogers as well as Crawford. As now Nick Crawford's going to be trying to find a way to get by third place position, but Larry Yingling trying to tag along with Hall as well as Hunter and Earhart to catch up to this picture that we see on screen of Nick Crawford as well as Brian Noel, Gavin Rogers. The front group now to be very much closer. The accordion stretched out and now starting to close in. I'm expecting the next 10 to 15 laps. I see this grouping a lot closer, but also that's going to put us in the window of asking a lot of questions, Richard, of when do you make the decision to go into pit road, or have some drivers further in the back made the call of I'm saving fuel to make it to the end.
Yeah, it is. I do believe it is possible if you really want to stretch that fuel tank to save enough fuel to last to the end of this race, but it is a huge gamble to do so. So we'll have to see what the strategies play out for everybody right now. Is that about 25 laps into this run of green flag racing last time they did? So, I mean, they still got a good 40 laps before pits even are going to start. But they're already a second off their pace from new tires also. So the big question is the undercut worth the time lost, or is everyone going to pit when that fuel tank is almost on empty? So a lot of strategies, a lot of thinking to be made here on when to pit, because that is where you can make or break your race and whether or not you become a winner or out of the top 10.
Watch some of the front runners if they're in fuel I can't get it out. Fuel saving mode, that's the easier way to say it. For these drivers, because I know one driver that's further in the back is saving fuel. That's the 21 of Ross Tatum in 25th position. The last season, I think he's been doing it for this whole entire run. He's 21, he's clutching into the corners, he is saving fuel. It is save and take it to the end. That is the way that Ross Tatum feels like he's going to win this race. As you see here, goes into the clutch, drops the RPMs, and gets back into the throttle quite immediately. And not a lot of saving, but he's doing the most minimal he can to also keep pace, also saving fuel.
I think the biggest thing about that, though, is how, believe it or not, doing this also saves your tires a little bit more. So you still might not be as fast as new tires, but your pace isn't going to be as bad as if you were running that long that's the entire time. I think the one thing that might help out a little bit more is maybe willing to turn a little bit further in, maybe getting lower on the track, but he's doing a good job holding that clutch in, trying to save as much fuel. He's going to try to make this race last until the end, as long as there's no yellow flags.
We're looking at some of those top drivers. I'm not seeing anyone else clutching. This 21 is the only one that might be attempting that strategy call to stretch it to the end. As we get back to looking up front, it's getting a little bit more hectic for the drivers that are inside the top six. Zach Paul has now entered the mixture of drivers that want a threat to challenge our top four, as Gavin Rogers is now right on the back bumper of John Forbes, the 75. We knew his pace was going to be there to catch up to the front leaders. Was it enough to make the pass and take the lead? It looks like it might be just enough, as John Forbes is squeezing and not allowing the 75 to get the run off the exit. This actually might help Nick Crawford, who's now closing in the mix, but also Paul's made the pass. He's now up to fourth. Richard, we've got a four-horse battle for who's going to be in this top spot by the end of this race.
Yeah, this race is about to get really interesting here in the next 5 or so laps, with Zach Hall closing in as well. The top, back into the top 4 now. His eyes are set on Nick Crawford, but Gavin is still trying to make the pass onto John Forbes. He wants to get up there in that lead, get those laps led. He's unable to make the pass yet. John's doing a great job defending it, but he has got a lot of fast cars also behind him, ready to pounce at any moment. It looks like Nick Crawford might look low. He's going to back off a little bit as Forbes and Gavin Rogers up there on the top side, but Crawford rolling the inside really well, gets alongside Gavin, but Gavin gets the run off turn 2 down the backstretch.
We saw this a lot during that first stage when it was getting late and we almost got to that first caution on how important the outside lane was, how it was so critical.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to pass them.
Especially when everyone was on the same lap time. When
definitely going to let my tires cool down.
The outside lane was the defensive lane to be placed in. It's exactly why John Forbes is staying high, not allowing the 75 to get any higher than him. And it's put in what we call aero block for the 75, but it gives an opening for Nick Crawford to close in the gap. He just needs to find the better spacing to keep his foot in the throttle and maximize the run off the exit of these corners. Right now, Crawford seems to be just a little bit too close, as now Zach Hall is right on the back bumper. Our top 4, all within 3/10 of one another. Gavin Rogers with a good run off the exit of the corner. He's trying to stay there. Also have the draft help from Nick Crawford. Gavin to the inside quarter panel, but backs off before going into turn 1.
You can throw the link over these 4 cars in the top 4. Zach Hall's looking low to try to make a move on Crawford. But Gavin's still trying to make moves to get that lead, just cannot get the momentum out of the turns to get that pass made. it's almost like you want to get that pass made in the turn right now because Ford's doing a great job utilizing that outside lane as Zach Hall moves into third from Nick Crawford and makes the pass into turn 3.
Yeah, I think that might have been a little bit of teammate help. Teammates for Snow Desert Racing, Hall and Crawford, as there really wasn't a battle between those two. As now it's going to be right back to the top two. Kevin Rogers, John Forbes running that top lane, trying to get themselves moving forward. But as these top drivers continue to try to figure out who's going to slide in front of the 11, further on back, some drivers are really starting to lose the handling of their machines. They've been out on track for 33 laps on this set of tires. And Richard, this has been the window that we've seen caution flags come out because the handling just becomes unbearable for some. They find themselves spinning out, collecting another driver. These are those moments where if you're up front, track position so key.
There goes one.
Chance to take the lead position or move up position or more, you have to take it.
He saved it.
Next caution comes out because I don't know if we're going to make it to green flag pit stops.
Yeah, it is definitely strange to think that this late in the run is when the aggression is going to pick up. But like you said, this is where the cautions have generally flown about the lap 30 mark. It's where the tires are kind of starting to wear out from the cars. They're getting a little bit more loose than what they're normal used to. So we'll see if these guys can keep it straight and keep it green. But up front, it is heating up as Gavin still trying to make moves, trying to get around the lead. But Zach Hall goes in as well. But they're still doing great racing back here with Joshua Kanata and Danny Cochran. Zach Hall lost a little bit on the inside.
Hall loose out of 2, and it just continued to break loose as he was going down the back stretch. Still, these tires are warm out of their mind, and the one machine just trying to keep the car underneath them as he's being passed by one after another. And Hall, who looked like probably the next threat to try to run down our leader and make the pass for the lead, instead is clogging up the middle of the pack around this 10th place position where, guess who? It's Vincent Sora the Magnet who's right there in the mix.
It's Sora right there, the magnet, like you said. Zach Hall able to stay within the top 10 at least, but coming out of turn 2, he got up into the wall a little bit, got a little slow, and then Nick Crawford's teammate got into him. But his stuff is being made by Noel and Josh Granada.
I did not practice that at all.
First one's down pit road. I'm
going to consider that a little lucky.
I didn't hear a single word over the radio that they were going to make that pit stop. That was an immediate reaction of we're going into the pits, which, I mean, that's the opposite of what I would think. I would think with all the drivers, the way that they've been wiggling all around, stay out as long as possible. Bank on a caution might be the call of my mind, but some of these other drivers, it's we need tires. Hopefully the rest of the field thinks the same thing, and they'll be pitting soon. As now Brian McCann now going to be going into pit road. It's our front runners that are making the call to pit road first.
This might be a good call by them, because if this forces the hands on the rest of the field, I mean, you might have 50 laps left on these tires, or 40 laps to go on these tires, so there's pretty much splitting this last part of the race in half after that last yellow. So it's not a bad call. They're going to have about a second to a second and a half faster pace than these cars up front. They might be able to make their time and make this undercut work. But that was very early, a lot earlier than I was expecting, especially with potential.
Got to go through a lot of cars
this time of the race as well.
Oh, and there was almost one out of turn number 4. Christopher Norris looked out of control, but here is going to be the speed difference. Driver with fresh tires compared to old, and just coming off the exit of the corner, you can see the difference. It's through the corners where it's the big gains for fresh rubber. It's Kanata now going to be trying doing his best to run down the front group. There is one driver in note. We had noted on it about 20 minutes ago. Ross Tatum. He is still clutching, still saving, and he is still in the realm of 7 seconds to our leader. This is the fabulous machine. He has not continued to lose time. He's actually kept it stable since he started clutching and saving fuel.
Still there?
This might actually, if this race stays green, this might be a good call by him. He's going to be, like we said earlier, about a second and a half slower than people on fresh tires. But that's still, I mean, that's a 33-second lap these drivers got to pull. So that's going to be probably about 20 to 25 laps before they catch it again. So I don't know. It'll be close on both speed, tire wear, and whether or not he can save enough fuel. But if he can pull this off, that is going to be the move of the race for sure with the decision to save fuel.
I 100% agree. 6 drivers have made the call to go into pit road. Ben Kinney, Jared, as old
Clear
boy
high,
Zach,
clear high.
Vincent Sora, as well as Ken Campbell. Big whoa up of the tires up front. Those that were pushing. Again, the different waves that we see for the tire,
one inside.
kind of the way that it cools down, heats
Still
up.
there.
If
All
you
clear,
are
all clear.
saving your tires, you are finding
Yeah, one
yourself that
inside.
if you push at a moment, all that saving is
low,
gone,
clear
and you
low.
might be on the back foot as more drivers went into pit road. Douglas Newbigin, the newest, to head into pit road and
Outside.
get service done. But Richard, I mean, this race
high,
is
clear high,
changing so
clear high.
dramatically with drivers going into pit road or
there,
not,
hold the
as
line.
we are
The
about
leader
to
is
take a
sitting
look
down.
at what
All
they're.
clear, all
That's
clear.
another factor
Outside.
that's been changing throughout the
Stay
night
low.
as we were around
Got him about
119
3 wide.
on that track 10. It's still
Hold your
hot for
line.
these drivers out there on track this late into a run.
Yeah, this track has
Hold your
jumped up to
line. Get one outside.
129
Too wide there.
degrees,
Stay
10
low.
degrees hotter than what
You're
we
clear
started
high.
the race
Clear
at. So these tires are definitely getting heated up. They're definitely getting worn out by the heat of the track. But
Yeah,
that
one
is the
inside.
old surface of Atlanta. It takes the heat, it
Clear
keeps
low,
it, and it
clear
keeps
low.
getting hotter. So these cars are definitely slipping and sliding all over the place.
Are you bouncing off
Especially
the
on
wall?
those older tires where grip is just leaving the microphones.
Hopefully get around these guys up here.
To cut their way through. John Ford's now
Get our lap back.
big smoke pile of his drivers trying to lock their tires to get into pit road without being caught speeding, but seeing drivers with fresh rubber making big moves. Brian McCann trying to get through. They actually went 4 wide on the last group that we had our shot on, as trying to cut their way through. Brian McCann,
Yeah,
Brian
one
Noel,
inside.
they want to get ahead as
wide, you're in
quickly
the
as
middle.
possible, as well as they
Yeah,
know
one
they have to
outside.
run down and
Too
catch
wide
up to
there.
Ross Tatum, who's the
You're clear
driver
high,
and who's
clear
trying to
high.
save the fuel
Yeah,
to make
one
it to the
outside.
end. It's Gavin Rogers leads
Stay
this
low.
race. He's got Nick Crawford behind him. Drew
clear high,
Jua
clear high.
has caught up and gotten into the mix with these leaders. I mean, it is a full fight, but how much longer are you willing to stay out as Garcia goes a little bit off track for a quick moment? And Campbell also follows him into pit road.
It is definitely a hard decision to make on when to pit because that undercut can be so dangerous for those cars that stayed out as long as they have. So, I mean, they're hoping that, you know, when they come in, they're going to have the speed and the pace better than the ones that pit earlier than them. But at what part does that cross over? Does that turn into advantage for the ones that stayed out longer? They're hoping for that to be what makes that help for the end of the race. But those new tires, they are screaming around this track, trying to catch up, back up to where they were as we were watching more field there. But right along here with the number 4 of Trevor Earhart.
Currently in 9th place, he's challenging with Jared Talmadge, who's on full bore and hell mode. Up front, Drew Jewis trying to make the pass back to the lead position, getting he placed in. For drivers exiting pit road, Cochran as well as Ken Campbell getting their service done. It's still our top 18 that need to make a pit stop at some moment. One of those 18 is going to be trying to switch their fuel off. That's Russ Tatum, who currently runs in 12th position at this time, and essentially closed the gap to less than 7 seconds to Gavin Rogers and Drew Jua.
And, you know, looking at it, Ross Tatum's actually running a little bit faster times than those of Gavin Rogers and Drew Jua as well. So the tires, the fuel saving he's been doing has also been saving his tires to where his pace is just a little bit faster than the leader. So he's doing a fantastic job with this fuel saving, with saving his tires as well for a longer run. So hoping, honestly, it'd be really awesome to see this strategy from Ross Tatum work out here at Atlanta tonight.
Ross Tatum hoping to find the speed, the placement to get himself up front and get into victory lane. As the 21 has been one of those drivers that had such bad luck at moments and times in his WSSR career. Did part-time for a few races, but here tonight he would love to get into victory lane if possible and mark another win for himself, as he has found himself into victory lane in the past. He's done it once so far. I was back in North Wilkesboro almost a year ago for himself. So the 21 machine wants to get a second win in this series, but he is going with the riskiest call of them all.
Also, in screen there, we were watching him. We noticed Zach Hall was really slow on the inside of the track. He missed his pit entrance. He was trying to pit with Cedric Hunter and could not get down in time. So he lost a ton of ground as he's just now pitting on this lap. But it's right along with Shane Terrian, who's taking the decision to pit as well.
Oh, trouble for the 4. Trevor Earhart, black flag, caught speeding on entry, 40-second hold as he was looking for a top 10 finish. Instead, he's going to need a caution to help him get back on the lead lap after this pit cycle concludes. The 4 machine is just about to be able to take off and go, but he will be 1 lap down once this pit cycle concludes. Nick Crawford still about a half second behind as watching Ryan Kelly with fresh rubber.
I don't know.
Their top 2, the top 4.
Should I try to pass him or just stay behind him?
4/10 of one another. But again,
he's running a pretty good pace.
We do not feel like can make it to the end of this race as
John's running us down.
Off at 2. The question is we know that they're going to be close.
John's on 4, 5, 6 better lap tires than we are.
Maybe around 15 if they were pushing it too aggressive.
No wonder.
But at this moment, I mean, tires might be a bigger issue if you're really sliding this much. I mean, Richard, I know popping a tire here at Atlanta is possible if you go the full distance.
It definitely can be a thing to get about where they get that meatball flag saying they need to pit for tires, and Gavin has definitely got his work cut out for him. He is struggling to keep that car under control. It might be time for him to consider getting some tires, but these drivers in the top 3, they might be still holding off for a potential caution. I think it's a little late for them to be trying to pit unless they might be going for a 2-tire stop.
I'll get to trying to pass him and just do what I was doing earlier and never be able to get around him, just wearing my tires off.
Who's off the pace now, has lost a lot of...
I think I got to wait for him to make a mistake.
The pace,
John's 1 second. He's going to show us how to do it here.
32.0 and some of the fastest laps that were put down in the middle of the field by Brian Noel. To see all the Fonseca getting by Crawford as well, past our leaders, but currently our leader of Drew Jua running almost 2 seconds slower than some of the drivers that have put down their fastest lap. Gavin Rogers is over 2 seconds slower than some of the fastest laps that have been put down here this evening. The 75, he is losing a lot of time now. Over a second behind Drew Jua.
Yeah, he is losing a lot of time. Unfortunate to see for Gavin Rogers, but you know, to take another look, Drew is doing a great job in the lead here, but another driver to look at, Ross Tatum, the driver that is trying to save, still out, still saving, still running faster laps than some of these top drivers, but the next driver on newer tires back, Brian Noel in the 11th position, as Ross Tatum's in 6th. But Brian Noel is still 14 seconds back as well, so he's still got plenty of time to catch up and get around. I don't know if Ross Tatum will be able to make this work on a fuel-saving strategy, but if anything, it still might be getting a better finishing position than he might have had if he would have pit and took tires. So still running that strategy to try to get a better finish, but we'll just have to see as the rest of this race progresses to see what he can do with this fuel-saving strategy he's going with.
And we're about to see a change on who is now the hunter to run down Ross Tatum. That is now John Forbes in the 11 machine with 7 lap fresher tires than the 00, just making the pass, getting by, now trying to set up again by Brian McCann, and give it to John Forbes, who was the leader before he went into pit road, trying a little bit of a gutsier strategy, went with the risk of pitting before the caution flag came out, got back on the lead lap, and now to Ross Tatum, about 12 seconds behind, coming up to 20 laps to go at the pace that we are seeing currently. John Forbes should be there with about 10.
No caution.
About 5 to 6.
Got lucky on that one.
Tatum. The other groups of drivers threw it out there, taking 2 tires. If you're going to go with that gamble, I feel like you have to make it now, coming up to 20 laps to go.
Yeah, they have to start thinking about pitting now. I don't foresee a
car scared me.
happening anytime soon with fresh tires out there. So a lot of these drivers, as we have Nick Crawford, looks like he's diving down to finally hit the pits, but Gavin Rogers still staying out on the track.
It's like, how did he get that kind of run?
He's getting passed by Zach Hall.
Because he's on new tires.
As Ross Tatum trying to figure out a way to get by Brandon Colley. Colley and Ross Tatum have been racing around one another. It's Colley ahead of this 21 for this whole entire stint. As Colley continues to fight Ross, and this is hurting the 21, who just needs to get clean air.
It's just too loose down low.
Of all of the drivers around him. Not looking like it's going to be the case, as some drivers of note trying not to get challenge penalties, and looks like Christopher Norris, who entered pit road, going to be caught with a penalty of going too far in his pit stall, had to pick up and lost a major time for the 38 machine. But of those that have yet to pit, we still have 8 drivers that still need to make that pit stop. That's GT Rosari, Brian McCann, as well as our top 6 being Justin Malarkey, Ross Tatum, Brandon Colley, Jarrett Tallmadge, Gavin Rogers, and Drew Jua as they continue to stay green. Ross, I gotta say, couch numbers because John Forbes is rolling right now. He is now within 8 seconds to this 21, and this battle is just hurting him each and every lap.
Yeah, this battle is not something Ross should really be worrying about right now because it's hurting his tires and hurting a little bit of fuel saving. And the time that John Forbes is gaining on him as well, he just needs to kind of take his time and wait. But just Brandon Colley not getting the runs off the turn as Ross Tatum's making the move now. Still not. He might be able to clear him in this turn. We'll see. Will he move up in front of him? He does. Brandon Colley finally gets passed by Ross Tatum. Now Tatum can worry about extending that gap from John as much as he possibly can or tapering it off a little bit because John Forbes, he is ready. Tatum still trying to go for the fuel save.
And it was official. Christopher Norris had a 40-second hold and is also Nick Crawford. 40-second hold on his pit stop, the 74, who looked like a threat to win here tonight. Not going to be the case. Currently 2 laps down. Once the pit cycle concludes, he'll be 1 lap down, back in 27th position. Of frustration.
That's out front. Still got a pit, don't they?
As now with the laps,
I believe I'm in second.
Down, it's John Forbes catching.
Hey, Pete.
Now to the rear bumper.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. How you doing?
Lap cars to get by. And this is all the 11 does not want to see, which is traffic ahead of him. Luckily, he's got the time. He has the tires to run down and catch up to Ross Tatum, but he's 9 seconds off of Drew Jua. He's 7 seconds off of Gavin Rogers. And looking at the pace for some of the other drivers that are out there on track, Gavin has really fallen off on pace. Same for Drew Jua. I think they're making the emergency call to try to save fuel at this moment.
I think that's exactly
the fastest lap. 31.888.
They out trying to save fuel and maybe work on, finishing this off to the very end. I don't see them being able to do this.
Good to hear.
I don't know the fuel numbers either. We'll to see what they can do. They are way off the base, running 34-second laps. Not only on older tires, but it's definitely an interesting call by these drivers as Ross Tatum has caught Gavin Rogers also with Jarrett Tallmadge passing him as well.
These passes are crazy. Gavin Rogers has lost over 3 seconds to Drew Jua. Now you've got Brandon Colley, Ross Tatum. This is a cluster of 4 drivers, all for position, all yet to pit. Second, back to 5th place, all here. This was not something that was on my bingo card to see when lining up how this cycle was going to conclude, as now the other drivers further on back. I mean, this battle of 4 now had a lap car and would have Nick Crawford, soon to be also a 38 Christopher Norris. Those are they are going to slow down this group, and that's going to allow John Forbes to catch up to them even more as they're almost 3 wide. Crawford goes by. Christopher Norris expected to get by on this next lap, the next corner, maybe the corner after that. But Richard, this is a perfect opening for John Forbes to run up and catch up to Ross Tatum, who finally gets by Jarrett Tallmadge.
Yeah, it is a perfect opportunity as John Forbes is closing that gap ever so more. He is only a second and a half back from Gavin Rogers. So he is gaining time. He is gaining time quick. There was only 13 laps to go. John has still got a lot of moving to get through, a lot of track to get through, and a lot of traffic. So it's possible that these drivers that are saving fuel, they could potentially win if this traffic slows down John Forbes.
And John Forbes isn't just getting a clean run. He's being challenged by drivers that pitted later than he did. Currently, it's Ryan Ferraro that's putting a challenge on the 11 as he's going back and forth. And now John Forbes is about to make the pass on Gavin Rogers. And Rogers is completely audible out of this run, no longer racing for the lead. The question is how far will the 75 fall? Because a top 5 in the tradition that we've seen and kind of the streak that Gavin Rogers has been on, so looks to be ending as we race on stay green. John Forbes up to 5th.
Yeah, drivers don't normally hope for a caution, but Gavin Rogers is praying for a yellow flag now. His tires are no longer alive on him as he is just losing time. But it's also fuel. He won't make it to the rest of this race unless he's been saving, but the amount he has to save is so far off the pace. It's going to be rough to see if he even gets a top 10 out of this.
As this run progresses on, there are a few drivers that are given an absolute shot on the pace that they have currently. I want to give my flowers to the driver that runs in 9th place, the 2 of Danny Cochran. A complete switch around from the way he was
goes one
last season. This 2 is
they can't make it
fast and one of the one of the drivers with the best tires within the top 10. He's running out of pace that he can maybe run up and get into the top 5 by the end of this evening with 10 laps to go.
It's very possible. He's still quite a few seconds back from that of Jared Talmadge, a good 6 seconds, but with his pace, it's still possible to catch him in just a couple of laps. And there's not many left also, as we're getting into the single digits of laps left to go.
No, I'm not second.
The start finish line this time around. But Danny
if I catch these other people, well, I'm 2.5 from them. I might
definitely finish in the top 10.
Yeah, we got 7 laps.
Forbes got by Ross. It's John Forbes.
And they might have to pit.
As it's now 9 laps to go, as the 11, just in a blink of an eye, passes 5 drivers, is now our leader for this race.
You do not want it.
Just as we expected, John Forbes now the leader of this race. Gavin Rogers even coming into pit as well. They are not going to have the race they wanted. Drew Drua with a black flag also for pit entry. So that's another driver. A lot of black flags for these green flag pit stops as we've got 9 laps to go, 8 laps to go in this race.
Brandon Colley now battling for 2nd place. He's able to get by Ross once again as Chris Ditz is trying to run to get his laps back, but this is a shocker. We thought maybe pit road was going to be easier, but with the old tires, with how worn out they were, trying to slow down without locking up just became too difficult. And that is going to be our 4th driver, 5th driver on this green flag pit stop that we're not able to make it without a black flag given. Brandon Colley might get caught. Also, Talmadge, they were flying into that pit road entry. I'm going to wait and see if they get a black flag for either one of them, but they both were looking quick.
John Forbes, man, he showed us how to do it, though. 4.7 seconds.
The fuel out to the end of this race as we're in no man's land for the field, but it's all John Forbes as the lap tick away. The 11 having over that of 4 seconds over Brian McCann, who is the next driver that's going to be good on tires. But Danny Cochran looking good to try to run down this 8 before the race is over.
John Forbes is doing a fantastic job yet again. Had the pace earlier in the race and is showing that he still has it this late as well. Doing a good job leading the race. Danny Cochran still trying to chase down in the top 5 now. Looking towards Ross Tatum. Should be able to catch Ross before the end of this race. But Ross, again, trying to make it on fuel. That is an impressive run for him. So let's see if he can finish this race in this tank of gas.
And as though you were talking, a lot of different scenarios just went down as Brandon Colley was given a black flag penalty for the 78 team going to the pit road. Douglas Newbigin also clobbering the wall off at 2, just 2 laps ago, almost bringing out a caution. And now we continue to race to the end of this thing, but will we see how many more drivers are going to lose touch to their vehicles? Because for a lot of the drivers that are up front, they're in that window.
They are running me down hard.
This was the time that we were seeing cautions earlier in this race, and they're pushing a lot harder now than when they were thinking about conserving. This is a danger zone with 4 laps to go. A caution is still looming, even though
I'm going to get past, at least for one here.
John Forbes definitely in control of this race, and all he's hoping for is a nice, clean, smooth race for him and for everybody else. He does not want to see that yellow flag come out. He wants to see the white and checkered before anything else. But this is the time, like you were saying, that we see a lot of cars kind of start losing control, but everyone with a whole bunch of different tire strategies. The field is mixed with a whole bunch of different cars. But John Forbes is in a class of his own.
My goodness.
A 6-second lead over that of Brian McCann and Danny Cochran in 3rd place.
And Danny Cochran is within a half a second to the 8 of Brian McCann. We'll see if that's going to hold as it's 3 laps to go, soon to be 2 for this one lap before the white. It's just hold your breath moment for John Forbes. Cross your fingers. You want to see that white flag because that confirms this race official. If we get a yellow on this lap, though, we head to overtime. And Richard, it's looking clean for the 11. All he sees is clean air, but behind him, back in that 5th, 7th, 8th position, it is looking like carnage as he holds his breath into 3 and 4.
It is a hornet's nest through the rest of the field, but here comes John Forbes out of turn 3 and 4.
We'll take a podium. No practice, 30th qualifying podium.
Flag, and that's the flag he will get. 1 lap to go. This race will be official. John Forbes is excited to see that as he dives off into turn 1.
One of the earliest drivers. He had the lead, and when he felt the pressure that maybe the lead was going to be in trouble of drivers catching up to him, he went to the road, made the gutsy call, needed this race to stay green, and it did. John Forbes got by those that were trying to save fuel, got by those that tried to undercut him, but off of turn number 4, John Forbes, the 4th different winner this season. Welcome to victory lane for John Forbes in the 11.
An impressive run by John Forbes, showing he had the pace, showing he had the speed and how to save the tires, along with coming in at the right time to take new tires as well in this last part of the race. Is just in a class of his own tonight, taking the win, and back-to-back wins for him for this week also as he won ISRC. So that is a great week of racing for John.
Y'all have a good one.
All the congratulational bumps being given around as John Forbes gets the bumps. I know for the 2 of Danny Cochran, he's happy to get 2nd. The driver, though, down in 5th place. Probably the most happy for himself that he survived even to be involved in a wreck. Vincent Sora finished a race inside of the top 30. He'll take a 5th place position.
Hey man, good race. Yeah,
is prepared to burn it down. We want to say thank you again to all those that watched with us. We hope you stick around
on the lead lap. I just kind of settled in. I didn't know you and Ross were on the lead lap. I was like, holy cow, they're like within reach.
Well, I tried, but it didn't work. Of course, the one track for it to go green.
Spotlight driver.
Yeah, I thought you had the strap. Like genuinely, Gavin, I thought you had it.
Oh, I thought so too. All of last season, I always pitted and the caution came out right after I pitted. So I was like, man, I'm not doing that no more. I'll just take the risk because it's like a 80% chance there's going to be caution, and there wasn't. But I'll take it. Yeah, I can't.
At Atlanta of all places, dude.
Yeah,
were you planning for a caution, or did you plan
for sure?
Okay.
I was going all out for just waiting for caution.
I like short pitted or like went a little bit early. So I was like, I don't want to get underpitted by anyone. Let's go.
What
I got an
happened?
interview.
Gavin, did you just
What do you mean?
die?
For the most part, yeah. I wasn't really paying attention to driving, to be honest. At the end there, I was just hoping for a caution.
What was your tires?
Oh, I don't even know. They were bad. I was doing little
I had 30
donuts in the pits. Oh, it doesn't even. It's not saying it. It shows 90s. Oh yeah, I did pit. I'm stupid. I should have looked at them.
Yeah, I was.
Shit.
If you're still in the
I was
look at
having
that
so
pit
much
entry I
fun. I really was. I was gonna
We'll do
play
that
on pit
after,
120, and then
the
John
broadcast.
pit, and I was like, maybe I should. Like WSSR has like a history
See, look
to
at that, no
always have a yellow within
2
10 to go, and I was
qualifying.
like, might as well try and
Yeah.
stretch it.
5
I've
on
already
warm-up.
won this season, so. And then I spent on pit road, so.
I really thought it was going to go long. I was like, okay, these guys, I cannot risk them pitting before me and I'll lose the race basically because you guys the undercut was so crazy. So I was like, I just want to go before anybody else.
Felt pretty confident that if we could get through the pit cycle, it'd go green, but
yeah,
that's what really scared me was
we
people,
almost
like, maybe
didn't.
potentially.
Norris
Yeah,
was
we almost
spinning
did.
through the grass. A couple of guys missed it.
As soon as you pit, I was like, I might as well stay out because the
It
chances
didn't
of
look
somebody
bad, but
spinning out
I was
on
on the
like
edge.
50, 60 lap full tires, that I have a more chance than, just catching you.
Yeah.
You'd already pitted, and I was. If you're gonna pit, I might as well just stay out an extra 15, like
I was
5-10
breaking.
laps, try and get
The
a
rear of my car was the only thing breaking.
advantage. But
So I was
it's a
having
fun
to
race
steer it.
regardless.
Yeah, it was fun.
You want to see the goat pit entry? Actually, crazy with it.
I was so worried I was gonna drive threw in speed because I did in practice.
Dude,
Yeah, I didn't at all before. I got in pretty good. Dan was like, just stop somewhere in the boards. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, so what I've done in practice was like into the boards, the boards in 3 and 4. I was like, well, I haven't drove like 50 laps on the tires, so it should probably go a little bit.
Oh,
early.
You got a penalty, didn't you?
Oh yeah, dude. I hit the cone at 80 miles per hour.
Oh no.
I should have been braking like right here. I went past that. So, and then it just doesn't stop with this weird transition.
I mean, it was fun battling you guys though before all the pitting stuff went down. Oh, and there goes John.
I was really going a long run, bro.
Oh, the interview first place.
I was enjoying it. That was the first time I felt pretty decent over the course of a run. Like I was passing guys early, but I think I had a line where I wasn't like losing it on exit.
First time in a while.
And I was able to just kind of keep it steady.
On that run at the end before we pit, I drove from 27th up to 4th.
Back, ladies and
I was digging,
gentlemen,
but I pit too late. I could have had top 3 probably.
For your WSSR Cup Series.
I don't know what I did, but I killed my tires big time at the very end of that last run.
For 4 races, 4 different pole sitters. And now they get 4 different.
The run before that, though, I felt really good.
John Forbes that picked the strategy out. Some decided on fuel savings, some decided to pick sooner, later. The one that picked the middle was the 11 of John Forbes, and it works out into victory lane. John, I mean, you showed speed, you worked through the field. How are you feeling after this great of a performance that honestly it looked like it was a gutsy call on any decision you took there in that final pit stop?
Yeah, just a solid race overall. I didn't really have time to practice for this one. I had to work, so I got off like right when the practice session opened, got home, had like 15 minutes to kind of warm up. Kind of got qualifying down, but I knew it was going to be kind of a long run pace, and I've done a couple races in some other cars recently at this old Atlanta, so felt pretty good about the long run pace and got into the stage, through the stage, gained a ton of spots, got up to I think seconds where I finished there. But it's pretty fun battles throughout the race. Was really focusing on keeping the right rear on it. I was doing a pretty bad job compared to my teammates the first few stops. But I also had a little bit more track position, so I was like, okay, I mean, I can settle it down a little bit, try to keep the rears on it. And I started running like kind of a middle line right in between the 2 seams on the bottom, and then I really woke up from there. I was able to keep the tires on it better, get better runs off, and then just start defending from there once guys saved a little bit better. And just run the top was really important, and they couldn't get by me on the bottom. And then going into that pit cycle, I knew the undercut was going to be huge because of how far we'd gone already. And I just could not risk having them pit before me, and I feel like I was going to lose the race if they got in before me, no matter how many laps. So I was like, okay, I think 35 is going to be a good spot. And then Nick came in, I think, with 38 to go. So then I came in on, I think, 37 to go. And I was like, all right, then we set the sails from there, just passed a few guys, got pretty sketchy in a few spots, but from there, I mean, it was just hitting my marks. There really wasn't any too much pressure because Gavin Rogers was behind me going into the pit cycle, and then he ended up running long. So it's like, oh, that was interesting. I mean, everybody I was racing went super long. I thought they were all gonna get dragged down when I went in, but then they figured I had the advantage once I pit before them, and they were gonna have a tough time getting to me. So I kind of made them play the other hand of the strategy just off of that call there.
Yeah, John, welcome. Stellar week of racing for you as well. As Monday, you were able to take the win in ISRC. Did the momentum there help you tonight with trying to get up here and run up front and get the win?
Yeah, obviously, just run up front. Any lead's going to give you more confidence to feel like you belong there. And it's kind of been like tough, at least for WSSR for me, because I just don't have as much experience, I feel like, as some of these guys do with these cars, and a lot of them run like open races and stuff with them. So it's kind of an adjustment. I'm still not super comfortable in this car, but it's hard with just how this thing's designed. It just drives so much different than everything else. So kind of getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is kind of the motto with this car, and that's kind of what we're doing tonight, especially on this old surface. So, but obviously, like winning the truck race on Monday, being in the championship lead with that, it definitely helps like bring my momentum over to any race I'm doing, really. But obviously, when the Truck Series league's over in a couple weeks, it's going to be full focus on this. I really want to make it to the championship 4 and give it a good championship run for this league as well.
Well, I know paired with the ISRC Truck Series, the next two races we got next week heading to Nashville and then the Red Bull Ring. How are you feeling about these next two races with heading to Nashville and then heading to a road course?
Yeah, Nashville's super fun. I always love that track. It's just nice flat concrete surface for the most part. And it really just kind of suits what I've kind of, I don't know, just have a lot of experience there running fixed and other series and stuff there. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. The road course, on the other hand, I don't even have that track yet. These are still a huge adjustment for me running road courses. I'm just starting to get it a little bit better in the trucks and like the Xfinity car, but these next gens they're so weird, especially with all the different braking settings and stuff you can do. Everybody has a different strategy with it. So just getting myself out there, putting some time to practice and getting a setup in there that kind of just feels comfortable to me. It's going to be important, but obviously we're locked in now. So just getting team points, because I think we may have moved up to second tonight in team points, but I know we were third, kind of near 100 points down already in the season with some unfortunate finishes by all of us so far. So to get the momentum going with the 125 here tonight, definitely a good swing in the right direction, and we are all in this for the points lead here, and we want to take this team championship.
Well, an impressive run for yourself here, John. Congratulations on the win. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, thank you guys for putting these broadcasts on. J Performance being on board, Justin Forbes Media for putting the scheme together. Couldn't deliver it, win at Auto Club last week, so it was awesome to get it in Victory Lane here. eFlexFuel being on board, always a great partner to have, and have a great night, guys.
Well, that will be your winner here tonight in the 11 machine of John Forbes. John, enjoy this one, and good luck next week at Nashville Superspeedway.
Thank you, guys.
As your winner here tonight, fourth different winner on the fourth different track of the season. We'll see if that continues on, but one driver that's been on an upward trajectory, and it is continuing on. Got third last race, now gets second here tonight. I mean, gotta say, Danny, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. This season, a complete awakening compared to last season, where it seemed like you were struggling at times. You're finding that consistency at the end of these races. How are you feeling with second place here tonight?
Dude, I've never been happy to run second in my life, man. It's awesome starting to figure out how to run these cars a little bit. Dude, it's such a learning curve. You go from something that has like a more classic stock car feel, like a truck or your Gen 6 Cup cars, and even to a point the Gen 4 Cup cars, but you kind of go from that into this new era. And I didn't really drive them for almost like the first 2 years they were out, so I mean it's been a big learning curve, but I'm finally starting to figure it out a little bit. And just kind of trying to use that to use what I'm learning to try and build some momentum for myself. And it seems to be working so far. So hopefully we can keep the streak going. We finished top 10 in all but one race so far this season, which for me and WSSR is pretty incredible. I'm very happy with how it's gone to this point.
Yeah, it's been an incredible season for you so far, Danny. And early in the race, you were caught back in a lot of the Hornets, and that's back in the pack of for the most of the race. But how did it feel getting up and getting through all that and coming out as high up as you did?
Yeah, Richard, kind of to your point, I did get pretty far back, but there was a reason to it, because I was thinking about it coming to that pit stop. We had that caution out before the stage, and I was like, I could either pit here, kill a set of tires, maybe pick up spots, or I could stay out, save a set of tires, and be in the middle of the Hornet's nest that will and did inevitably lead to a wreck. So I opted to come down, put fuel in it, and just kind of wait for everybody else to go, and kind of EO'd myself on the restart, because it's like, okay, I know I'm fast enough to at least get back up to like a top 10, around where I had been running. So I opted to go that route. Paid off for me, because we missed a couple wrecks that I'm pretty sure I would have been in the middle of otherwise. So I'm happy I done that. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a different feeling. You get inside like the top 10 in this league. Other places you don't. It's not as much of a separation. But everybody in this field is so close that if you're from about 8th all the way back to, I don't know how many cars we had here, 40th. I mean, everybody's such under a tight knit blanket that if you can just get a little bit of separation and get away from that, it can just help you so much. You can concentrate on actually, saving your tires and managing your run versus just having to battle all the time. So yeah, it helped a ton just being able to get out from that a little bit and kind of be able to run your own race.
Well, Danny, we're heading into 2 races before our holiday break, Nashville Superspeedway and then the Red Bull Ring. What's your confidence level heading towards these 2 tracks?
Yeah, holy cow, man! I forgot we were that close to Christmas. So, I guess I got to get a couple Christmas schemes ready. But, dude, I'm feeling really good right now. I'm not by any means a road course ringer, but I can hold my own. Red Bull Ring is certainly it's foreign to me. I've driven like open wheel stuff there, but I've never driven a stock car. So, that's definitely going to be new. But I'm looking forward to it. I know at Long Beach last season I had like my best run there, and it was a little bit less traditional. So I feel pretty good. Nashville Super Speedway, I think I can do well. That's where I had one of my best runs in the when we ran the Gen 4s in WSSR. So I don't know. I know it tends to build really tight there, so we'll see how that plays out. But I don't know if it's gonna play to my driving style. But we'll see what happens, man. I think if I can just keep racking up some top 10s and keep consistently about where I'm finishing, I'll be in a great spot come time for the playoffs.
Well, we are excited to see how these upcoming races are going to perform for you, Danny. It's been a great start so far. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Larry with Larry Arts Productions. Go check him out on YouTube. Hopped on the car all season for this season. Stoked to have him on board. Stoked to be, dude, I'm so happy to have some decent runs with him on the car. I know Cody got a win with him on the car at Atlanta, but I hadn't been able to get the monkey off my back of finishing lousy.
Seen a lot of success in the past. He's been looking to try to find his right footing, and it looks like he might have found it here tonight. We have the 8 machine of Brian McCann with us. Brian, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. I mean, 3rd place, you went with the earlier pit stop than most. It put you in great positioning there late. What was going through your mind when those closing laps and you were seeing your competition going to pit road and then others catching up to you?
Yeah, when we went green, starting to calculate, the strategy on what to do on that long run, I was like, do you cut it in half and go in and, get the new tires and hope for a green run, or do you stay out? And I saw like 2 or 3 other people do it, so I was like, all right, I'm doing it. Luckily, it paid out in my favor, but my story is kind of the same as the first 2 drivers that just interviewed, John and Danny. I didn't get any practice, and it kind of felt like the older cars that we're used to. So it's kind of weird, 3 of us saying the same thing up here in front.
Yeah, it was a fantastic seeing you all the way up in front, Brian. Not something we see very often now, but good to see you coming up. What's it feeling like finally being able to run these next gens, faster and up here with these faster drivers?
Oh, it feels great. I ain't been in the podium in a while. So yeah, I'm excited to be up here. I'm learning as I'm going. The only time I race is cars in this league, so great group of drivers out here to learn from.
I mean, Brian, it has been always fun to see you out on track and performing well. We're coming up to a couple of different tracks than what we've seen. We got heading towards Nashville Super Speedway and then the Red Bull Ring. How are you feeling like you can try to carry this momentum into these future tracks, or is it just survival mode before we have the holiday break?
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the road course. I know the track a little bit, so I'm not too worried about that, but trying to take what I've learned in the last few weeks in my improvement and translating it into road course, I think that's going to be a whole different story. So I'm not sure how that's going to turn out. Hopefully we can just go out there and continue the streak.
Well, we cannot wait to see how you're going to perform in these future races. Brian, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout outs.
Yeah, my family, you guys for doing the broadcast, amazing job. Everybody who helps out on this league, great, amazing league. And my teammates, Larry and Ryan, jumped in the server, no practice, and they gave me some hints, and it helped me out. Thank you.
Well, that will be Brian McCann in the 8 machine, taking away 3rd place here tonight. Congratulations, Brian, on a great finish, and good luck next week at Nashville.
Thank you.
All
right. I'm going to go ahead and